and quote, "The devil appears in person."
Wow. So he's a busy guy, I would imagine.
No,
devil.
he's here.
He's installed. And he's like, my back hurts. And so they lift up his shirt. Big scratch, bleeding.
Wait, from little Sallie?
Yep.
I feel like she wouldn't do that. I feel
Sally
like
wouldn't?
someone else is in there with Sallie.
3, 2, 1. We're back. And hello and welcome back. Sorry.
It's us. Did you miss us? We missed you.
It's been a little bit. We know this. We know
Sorry.
this. We know this. Life happens when this isn't your real job, and then you have trips and family stuff. So we're back now, rolling again.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're excited to be back.
We're excited.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some pictures of our latest endeavors.
Maybe a little clip of Bisbee swimming.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Woohoo.
Wow, Bisbee had the best time.
She's laying right here.
Yeah. But we're back.
We're back to Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah.
If you haven't forgotten, we're finally done with the eyes. I'm
Unless we
over.
forgot one. Let us know.
I don't care if we forgot one at this point. I'm so over it. But I'm ready for the K's. I'm ready for Kansas.
We forgot Imanoa. The state of Imanoa.
I'm ready for Kansas. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Also, preview? No. Nope.
Post view? No, this will be up before
I was going to, what's the word for you're giving a hint for what's to come?
Not foreshadow, to tease.
Tease
things.
To tease. We spent this weekend / today filming a behind the scenes video for you guys so you can see kind of what our lives are like outside of this, as if you don't already know. Again, thank you, friends and family, for being our only viewers. But yeah, we'll post that hopefully soon.
Sometime this week.
So you can see the making of this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
The daily life of suburban millennial corporate workers.
Yeah. Well, it
Everyone
sounds so exciting when you say it like that.
It's going to be labeled boring vlog.
Boring vlog.
Yep.
We'll get the viewers that way.
It's like I'll determine if that's boring. You don't tell me if it's boring.
Oh yeah.
That's really going to get them.
That'll get them. That's what I always click on boring videos.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
Don't watch this, brackets.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Anyways, Kansas.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking?
Yeah.
This weekend we went to, I'll insert some pictures, Sonoyta. So in honor, I'm drinking some wine because Sonoyta is a vineyard winery place. I accidentally got charged for 2 bottles when I only bought one. But it happens.
It's probably a good sound to play on the board there.
Joe goes, I just assumed that bottle you bought was $65.
Wine's expensive. I don't know.
No.
Especially local wine. I don't know.
It was not a $65 bottle of wine. Anyways, it's good. And what are you drinking?
I'm drinking what is currently my favorite drink, which is just a variation of espresso tonics.
I'm sorry, favorite drink ever?
Yeah, I love espresso tonics right now.
Oh my gosh, wow.
They're very good.
I thought you would have said, I don't know, like a pina colada or something.
Pina colada? Oh, my Lord, you don't even know me. Why?
You like your fruity drinks?
No, it's warmer.
Okay.
My friend. But it's basically, I think the brand is called Comeback Coffee Soda. It's from Memphis, Tennessee. They call it coffee soda, but it really just tastes like an espresso tonic to me, which is exactly what it sounds like. A espresso shot, tonic water, and then some sort of citrus. Always super good.
Yeah.
Monica, if you're watching this, she introduced us to that drink.
Oh my God. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're going to go visit her in a couple weeks time.
Stay at the Stanley Hotel.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Excited for that one.
We will be vlogging that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Sorry, Monica. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. I have 2. You have 1. Let's not keep the people waiting. They've been waiting months.
Years
for this content. Let's do it.
Prime content.
First one I did, Hotel Josephine.
Has my name in it.
Yeah. Holton, Kansas, maybe?
Okay.
Built in 1889 by A.D. Walker. It's a red brick hotel. It was originally opened as a Josephine because that was the name of his 9-month-old daughter.
Okay.
But since then, it's gone by like a lot of different names. It was later named like the Reinhardt Hotel, Sutherland Hotel, Tier House. Like it's gone through a lot of names,
Okay.
but I'll be referring to it as Josephine.
Reinhardt was the Overwatch character that I almost exclusively played.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing.
Lewis will know.
Yeah. Thanks for the comment, Lewis. It was built and it was like released, launched. The go live
Opened.
was
The go live date.
Thank you. Okay.
What was the KPI?
Yeah,
of the
let's not. January 19th, 1890.
Okay.
It was just built to support like the railroad, I guess, went through their town. So it was
just a little pop up.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was built to support like railroad goers and entice people to like stay, like guests. They wanted guests to stay in the town so they could get more money. So, hotel appears.
Okay.
It has been in continuous production ever since, which is cool.
Oh, that's impressive because a lot of these places will, they'll become a hotel and then they'll
burn down,
then go out of business,
right?
And then get used as a hospital and then burn down again.
You can still stay there, and they have ghost tours there, which is super cool.
Okay.
But the only time it wasn't like working in production was 2010 when it changed to owners. So yeah, let's talk about it. Right. It's known as the most haunted hotel in Kansas.
Okay.
It was known for its like big, like grand dining room. I guess it was like a nice hotel, but it's really like feature was the dining room. It was built with electricity, but which was pretty impressive for the time. But each room was heated with wood stoves, and then they had servants like take care of the water.
Oh, like fresh baths and fresh buckets to wash their face with.
And like chamber pot situations.
Oh, okay.
I
will say this about these old hotels. They knew how to do grand things well. Like grand doesn't mean just like a big room. Like we can make big rooms nowadays, but they did grand things back then.
Yeah.
In a way that they're still impressive nowadays. Yeah. And that like a new built hotel is it's just not grand. It might be big and fancy, but it's not grand.
I agree. Something with the architecture makes it grand.
Yeah. And like I think they use different materials and like the wood and just expensive stuff nowadays that would make it like impossibly expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So it served because it had this grand ballroom. It served as a venue for conventions and stuff like that. So like for some reason it was very popular with like doctors who would hold like clinics there and like, get-togethers to learn from one another, including like the Medical and Surgical Institute would have like clinics where doctors from around the area would come and learn. Okay. So that was cool.
Like current days, or like did they have doctor conventions like a long time ago?
I think they had like doctor conventions like back then.
Oh, okay. Someone's like, you don't have to chop the arm off every time? They're like, no, we swear.
Let me show you about this thing called anesthesia. Okay. Famous people have also stayed there. Okay. Or was on their registry as having visited this hotel. President Grover Cleveland.
My favorite president.
Carrie Nation.
My favorite nation.
Do you know who that is?
No, I have no idea who that is, actually. Carrie Nation?
Yeah. I was like, that kind of sounds familiar. I guess she was like in the Prohibition, or maybe prior to Prohibition, she was like very against alcohol. So she was known as like some axe woman. I forget like the name. And she would go around like attacking alcohol serving establishments with a hatchet.
Oh, that sounds stable.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like, in high school and stuff, videos of them going and they break the barrels with like a hatchet.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's the same thing. Yeah.
Sounds like she's just like rampaging.
Yeah, I think she was. Okay. Anyways, that was interesting. And also like famous actors and actresses like Christy Alley, who I haven't heard of in a long time, but apparently she's been there.
Who's that again?
I'm sure she's been in a lot of stuff. What I remember her from is the 1996 probably film The Tooth Fairy. No one remembers The Tooth Fairy. It was with Christy Alley.
Okay.
She flies around. She is the Tooth Fairy.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, I know there was a Tooth Fairy movie more recently, but I think it might have like The Rock or like Vin Diesel or something.
Oh, yeah.
As a
not
Tooth Fairy
the same
or something.
one.
Okay.
It's called, Toothless.
Oh, Toothless. Okay.
Here is a picture of the cover for everyone who's very interested. And here's a picture for Joe.
Okay. I've seen that. I
don't know why.
Not the movie.
Not down a rabbit hole, but I used to love this movie. It played the Beach Boys song while Christy Alley would fly through the sky.
Why the Beach Boys? That's not like nothing to do.
It would be what's that? I Get Around song.
Oh yeah.
I get around.
I get around.
And she's like flying and it's like playing that song. I have that like engraved in my memory for some odd reason. Anyways,
nice.
back to this. So yeah, cool people who stayed there. Let's see. So a lot of different reports from this hotel, shadowy figures, especially on like the upper floors and like the basement.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Cold drafts, slamming doors, unexplained thumps. Thump. We need a thump sound effect or like a footstep sound effect.
We do.
Yeah. So there's a few people who have been particularly cited at this hotel. There's no information about like the origin of any of this, unfortunately. It's just kind of
people.
Famous. Ghost hunters go there.
Okay.
And these are what they report. The spirit of Josephine herself. So she is said to stomp through the halls when the guests get noisy. I think that's really funny.
Shut them up.
She's like, this is my hotel. It's named after me, and you're going to follow the rules and be quiet after 9 p.m.
You see the signs.
Yes.
Clearly marked.
Yeah, she does like keeping the place in check, There's also said to be like a Native American spirit, which I couldn't find an origin from, but that was interesting, particularly in the upper rooms and in the basements as well.
Okay.
So maybe they are the ones that are causing all of the shadowy figures that people are seeing. There's also something known as the Buffalo Room, which is a hot spot. Again, I couldn't find any information on why it's called the Buffalo Room or like why it's a hot spot for ghosts.
I think with those old rooms, it's just probably decorated with buffalo stuff.
That's probably it. Yeah.
The president's room is just like where the president stayed when they stayed.
That's true.
Or like, the blue room
that's where
has
they held the
stuff.
buffaloes. Yeah. And then finally, there is the Carrie Nation Room, where guests have reported hearing a woman crying. Maybe this woman had hanged herself in the past. There was like a whole story about that, but it's very odd. Some people also say that it's Josephine's the one who's crying. But then again, I don't know why this would be happening in the Carrie Nation Room. But it does.
That might be the most boring room. They call it Carrie Buzzkill Nation.
No, anytime you see, that would be good. Anytime you brought alcohol into the room, she'd be like, meh.
Yeah, just
yeah. No. Anyways, as a follow up from this, I asked ChatGPT to give me some jokes related to it.
Okay.
So, anyways, why don't ghosts drink in the Carrie Nation Room at the Josephine Hotel?
It's dry.
See, that would have been good.
Oh.
This is, again, ChatGPT, not me. Because even in the afterlife, Carrie's still smashing spirits. Literally.
Ha ha ha.
Ha 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 ha. You're welcome.
That makes these like murdering other ghosts.
Anyways, that was what I had for you.
Nice.
It was a short one. My other one I think is better.
Okay.
So, but I'm excited to hear yours because I've heard of yours. So let's talk about it.
The Sallie House. This is very famous. Very famous.
Is.
It has ghosts. Well, it has a ghost, maybe ghosts, and potentially demons.
Demons. I was reading the story of it. It was in my little book, my little haunted book.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
But I was reading it. I don't know if the book like did a weird job, but it was creeping me out.
Uh-huh.
Not the ghost part, but like the origin story. And I was like, I don't want to talk about this. And so I didn't pick it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and sanitize that a bit.
Okay. Well, the book did not.
Did not do a good job of it?
Okay. I'm not. I'm going to have nightmares. So anyways.
Well, experts, like paranormal experts, which apparently exist.
Yes. The paranormal coordinators.
This is the most haunted house in the U.S.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yep. So it dates back. It's in Atchison, Kansas.
Okay.
Dates back to like the mid 1800s. I think it was built like in the 1860s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was built, let's see here, by a Michael Finney. And then he passes away, and his son takes over, a Dr. Charles Finney, or Finley, sorry.
Finley, got it.
And it said that he was a doctor, and he said that he had his family live upstairs, and then he would practice medicine downstairs. So it was kind of like, I think a lot of businesses then and still now, where, people live above and then operate out of it below. There's no hospitals in the town.
Operate out of it.
Yes, operate.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. But yeah, so he would practice below, and people have said this doesn't really make sense based on the layout, but to me, it's just given the historical context. Like, I don't know why that'd be the thing they would nitpick. But anyway, so yeah, not a lot of doctors in town, no hospital until much later. So there was no place to go when you had a real emergency. They would go to the town doctor, and one day a girl shows up with her family, ton of pain, appendicitis. She needs her appendix out. I guess it's like on the verge of bursting, like no time to do anything other than start operating. So he had to start operating before anesthesia was there.
Oh, I heard that it was like malpractice, and he like forgot to give it to her, or that it hadn't set in yet.
It was that it hadn't set in is what I read, but it was like, because like if they didn't get the appendix out, the girl was going to die. So he like administered it and then had to start the surgery before it kicked in, which is as bad as it sounds, I would imagine, you know, like a surgery. So
she was like, what, like 9 or something?
Something like that. Yeah. Like 9 or 11. But she's screaming. She's, obviously getting, just cut into. And unfortunately she doesn't even make it through the surgery, and she passes away. So that's where the history of why they call it Sallie House. They say this is Sallie, is what happened. So after they occupy the house, and then, nothing happens immediately, it sounds like. But later on, tenants start to move into the house, and I see that people reporting scratches. And that's going to pop up again later. Earns the name, the ghost, the man-hating ghost, because she would scratch men.
I love that. There's a man-hating ghost in New Orleans. I love her too.
Well, it's presumably because like she blames, because the guy who did the surgery was
it's
the doctor.
Always meant.
So unfortunately, that earned the name there. And the way that I was reading it was that this was happening before the main event, which starts in 1992 when the Pickman family moves in.
Okay.
The Pickman family originally was just a husband and wife, Tony and Deborah. Although I don't know if she was pregnant when they moved in, but I think it sounds like she was, because they had a son pretty shortly thereafter, named Taylor. Now, before the son is born, things are kind of quiet. Not quiet, but like less intense. The lights are flickering. Like the phone line would work and go dead. Like the oven and appliances would turn on and off. Just kind of stuff that you would just blame on like technology failures or bad lighting or electrical wiring, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, nothing to really be concerned about at all. However, one thing to note is when the nursery, like when they were prepping it, the dog would go in there and bark. So that was one thing. So that's one thing to keep that in mind for later. So when they get the kid home, so they have the kid comes home, that's when the shift happens.
Okay.
And so the kids, and they put the kid in, or they get home, and they normally kept like the teddy bears and kids' toys like on a chair in the corner, and they're all arranged on the floor. And they're like, oh no, somebody's in our house.
Yeah.
So they search the house, they get rid of the kid, not get rid of the kid.
Throw the kid away.
They throw the kid out the door. But no, they secure the child.
Yeah.
And then they search the home.
House.
Yeah. And they secure the house. Nobody's there. They're like, okay, that's weird. Go in. She puts the kid down and goes on, turns off the light. Yeah. Puts the kid to bed. And then it turns off the light, goes down the stairs, lights click back on behind her. She goes in. What do you think's happened?
The dolls are on the ground again?
Yes.
Excellent.
They're all back out. And she's like, okay,
Absolutely.
Somebody's in the kid's bedroom. So she grabs the kid.
Yeah. I'm so glad that she had a realistic response to this.
Yes.
Sidetrack. We have been going, I don't know why, but we have been watching all of the Conjuring movies, like all 8 of them or how
892.
many. Yeah. Anyways, we can do we should do that. Oh my gosh, we should do that. We should have an episode where we rank all the Conjuring movies.
Oh, that's good. We should.
It just came to me. Anyways, but in those movies, the dolls are moving. Stuff strange is happening in the house. And people don't have the sense that these people had. They're like, oh, someone isn't here. I am leaving.
Yeah. I will say, there's things I'm going to say that I think a lot of modern horror writers took ideas from this story.
Okay.
Because there's things that you're like, oh, that's exactly what I've seen in a movie 10 times.
Yeah.
In a movie that's come out in the past 20 years.
Got it. Okay.
So very Conjuring-esque stuff happens. So anyway, so they secure, the house again, put the kid back to bed. She starts to go down the stairs. She's like, lights didn't come back on, but let me go look again just to see. Lights never came on.
Okay.
Everything's arranged again. Yep.
I would get out. I would sell my house.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I would just scream and run out the house.
No, I'd be gone. It would be a second. I would leave all my belongings. I would pick up Kona and run away.
Yep. So they call the brother of Tony over.
Okay.
And while they're there, they notice that a teddy bear downstairs turned around. They didn't see it turn around, but they were like, wasn't that facing the other way?
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just get the heck out of here. And they go stay with family.
Oh, thank God.
Yep. They did rational things.
I appreciate that.
So after this, they call a phone psychic. And apparently,
okay.
Apparently you can do remote home readings or something. So I don't know. Little malpractice here, if you ask me. But
we should be phone psychics.
We should. I'll just be like, let's see. I sense 2 spirits. Anyway, so yeah. The phone psychic tells them that there's a little girl named Sallie there. So maybe this person,
does the phone psychic have their address?
I assume they tell them address. Okay. I don't really know. But if what you're thinking is they looked up, first of all, it was the early 90s, so you couldn't just Google things.
Oh, that's creepy.
And then
I forgot.
Also there's no no record that this Sallie situation ever actually happened.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't see that.
But anyways, so she said there's a little girl Sallie. But around the same time they have family friends. So I guess I think it's Tony's mom knew the former people that lived there. I think is what it was. Okay. And so they contacted them and said, did anything weird happen there? And they're like, well, sometimes we would smell a sour smell. And then sometimes my kids' toys would move. And I would always just blame them, but they insisted it was their
Sallie.
Imaginary friend Sallie.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
for that name to be used in all those 3. Nope. Okay.
So we're two different modern independent people gave it.
Creepy.
But this is more psychic malpractice. But she tells them, she said, why don't you contact and befriend this ghost?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
make them feel like a part of the family.
Yeah, let the devil into the doll.
Yeah. So they were convinced it was a harmless ghost, so they tried to reach out to it. So Tony and his brother, they put a bear out and asked Sallie to interact with it. Yeah. For a picture. And I think Tony's taking the picture. And then in real time, the brother sees, he watches it turn.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, picture, not video.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
It's 1992.
Oh, no. I was like,
yeah.
Is there a live photo?
But obviously, so they freak out.
Yeah.
Tony goes to grab Deborah, and George is the brother. He's frozen. He can't move. He's locked in place.
Oh, goodness.
And then he eventually, as Tony and Deborah get back, he gets control of his body back. And he's like, my back hurts. And so they lift up his shirt. Big scratch, bleeding.
Wait, from little Sallie?
Yep.
I feel like she wouldn't do that. I feel like someone else is in there with Sallie.
Yep.
And she just... Sallie seems nice. Oh, wait, she hates men. No. Yeah, that was Sallie.
Like men. But so... Yeah, and I think... So at this point, the psychic told him, look, they're just, Sallie's scared or whatever.
Yeah.
Make her feel like she's part of the family.
Yeah.
So this is, at this point, Deborah changed because she started to treat Sallie like a daughter. And she got her a gift and stuff. And it was almost if she's being manipulated. Because
Deborah is.
Yeah, because at this point she doesn't make rational decisions.
Oh, wow.
Or she doesn't like believe, she doesn't like react to things like the way you'd expect somebody
Sallie is like possessing Deborah to be her new mom.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And at this point, Tony's life becomes very difficult. So he started as like whispers. And then he said by the end of things, it was like yelling voices that would like overlap with each other. As in like they're like you can't make what
Deborah
one is saying.
and Sallie would yell at each other?
No, like he would just hear voices.
Who else was there other than Sallie?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
So yeah, like imagine like you hear whispers and then it just turns into like just undecipherable noise.
Of voices.
Oh.
It said horror. I thought it was going to be a horror sound, but it wasn't.
No, it's just here's voices. So and that he hears like scratches in the walls.
Voices.
Sallie.
That's what I was looking for.
There we go. Here's like scratches in the walls. Feels like stuff like feels like biting on his feet.
Canoe.
And then one night during a party, he had people over and like a scratch like went across his forehead and he started to bleed.
In front of everyone?
It sounds like it. Yeah, that's what I read.
Wow.
And then he would like wake up at night with like his wrist burning and it would look like and blistering and it would look like little kid hands on his wrist.
Ew.
And
Wait,
this one.
Why? They were so normal up until this point. Why are they still in this house?
Because Deborah, she's not reacting the way like you would if that was actually happening.
Wow. Okay.
Like more like she's like on like Sallie's side. She's being manipulated.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then he has like a dream that there's like this lone woman in his house. And so they recontact the psychic who was like, oh yeah, sorry, I missed it. But you also have this other woman in your house, this dark lady. More malpractice, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it.
Now I think about it, actually. So, and this is the creepiest one. And this like reminds me of something like, being a Conjuring, he would get like pulled out of bed by his legs and the way that like the Conjuring.
That's literally, yeah.
So like you imagine,
ew.
That's really terrifying to think about. Like if you were laying there and you just get like pulled down your bed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like your leg will twitch.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me where I'll be laying there and my leg will just go like thunk, and you're like not like way up in the air, but you know.
Yeah.
But like imagine
pulling
like you move in the bed.
Or the sheets.
Yep.
I don't like that.
Ooh. But here's a really like creepy one. So eventually he wakes up in his bed and there's like a lady, like I don't know if it was like she was all black or a lady wearing black or what, but she's like over him. A lady
in black.
He wakes up, like opens his eyes, she's right there, hovering over him and says she's going to kill him.
Oh my God, very movie.
Very movie.
Except what happens in the movies is the demon like
vomits into your mouth.
I wasn't going to say it, but
pukes.
Ew. Gross.
Yep.
That would be horrifying. Also very what's it called? Sleep paralysis.
Yeah. But he wakes up again. So it was like one of those like dreams in a dream thing. So it's like
ew.
Where you're like a very realistic kind of a thing. You've had those before.
Yeah. And yeah.
So other stuff starts to happen, not specifically involving Tony, but like candles would light themselves or like things would catch on fire, like teddy bears would catch on fire. This is pretty wild stuff if this happened.
Oh my God. I hope they got pictures of like any of this.
Well, later on, like they had
disposable cameras. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
I feel like there's a word for something just catching fire for no reason.
Spontaneous, like combustion.
Spontaneously combust. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I guess like kids' toys started to make like demonic sounds. Yep. And then Deborah would just be like, oh, that's just Sallie. Like you're just misinterpreting what Sallie's doing.
Oh my God. Someone get Deborah out of there.
I know. I think
Debbie,
she's being a little possessed, perhaps a little possessed.
That is not Sallie, by the way.
Oh, for sure not. No.
This is escalated past Sallie.
This is demons.
Yeah.
This is demons right here.
Yeah.
Around this time, the media started to like pick up on this. And
what year is this now that it's picking up?
Still 92. I guess this was all over a pretty short period of time. And so a show called Sightings, like a crew came out and like during the night, like when they were first setting up their equipment, like they saw him in real time get like scratched and bleed. Tony, that is.
Oh my God.
And then they said over the course of the night, like when they were doing their show and their filming, he got attacked like 11 times.
What?
Yep.
Wait, and they stayed?
I guess so.
Why did they catch any of this on camera?
They didn't stay for much longer. I don't know about the camera thing.
Oh, okay.
I would think they would if.
Hello, like you're there filming an investigation.
Yeah.
And the guy's getting scratched 11 times and you miss every single one of them.
Well, I think people don't find like like unless they literally like record it happening, like oh, I got scratched. See this picture of me scratched, and you're like, well, you just scratched yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they leave, and then things culminate, I would say. Sorry, by they I mean the sightings crew, and then after them, things really start to crescendo. So Tony convinces Deborah to try and do like a house cleansing.
Okay.
And this like really makes the
ghost angry.
The ghost angry,
as it does. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he gets his worst like scratches ever then, and then he starts to get like wild mood swings. So he'd be like paranoid and angry, blah blah blah, and he starts to black out. Oh, and God. Warning for anybody who doesn't want to hear about like an animal getting injured, but
I don't want to hear about an animal getting injured.
Go forward like 30 seconds.
I don't want to hear.
But so he comes to in the kitchen, and I guess he like killed a cat, like a stray cat. And then
Tony killed a cat?
Yeah. So he said, like, I killed this cat. He didn't remember killing the cat. And then he starts to hear voices telling him to kill his wife now. Now kill your wife. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give in to you. And then he gets thrown down the stairs. And like those two events together, like Deborah's like, oh, maybe something bad's going on here.
Deborah finally is like, oh, that's interesting. There's a dead cat in my kitchen. And
so he's able to.
My husband flew down the stairs.
Yeah, something odd is happening here. I see him connecting dots. So then they move out.
Oh, thank God.
Some other people move in and they started experiencing stuff too, and they bailed.
Good, as they should.
And then it's been vacant ever since. It got turned into an attraction after that.
Whoa.
You know, a place you go and investigate or whatever.
Whoa.
It's been popping up on like media since this happened. The show called The Haunting. Did you ever watch A Haunting? I forgot about it.
Haunting?
Yeah, it's just called A Haunting. I love that show.
I love that show.
Me and Andrew used to watch that like during the summer breaks. Yeah, like 2005, 2006, whatever. Yeah. Like during that time frame.
Yeah.
Because we'd be playing like video games, and then like we would just have A Haunting on in the background because it would just be like, you know.
My mom and I would watch that like religiously.
Oh yeah, we loved that show. I think Michael would watch with us too probably, but I definitely remember me and Andrew watching that show a lot. But anyway, so yeah, it was on Ghost Adventures, of course.
Duh.
They're
Zach Baggins?
They're not going to the Sallie House, dude. We should watch an episode of him screaming at that house. And then it did a transition into the YouTube era.
Did Watcher go?
Watcher did go. Season 1. Well, not Watcher.
Oh, we should rewatch that.
BuzzFeed.
Yep. We should watch that.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, let's watch it tonight.
BuzzFeed Unsolved went. So Shane and Ryan were there, and then Sam and Coley had done an episode there. And just like I Googled it, and like it was like a million YouTube things.
Yeah.
So. But
there is something other than Sallie there.
Oh, for sure. And then
something is keeping Sallie there.
Yeah, I guess other people have taken dogs back to this place.
Okay.
And like barking? They'll bark, or they won't even go in the nursery. So that's a consistent thing.
Kona would start barking from
the streets.
The street.
She just wouldn't go.
In the car.
Yeah.
Because that's what she likes to do. She likes to bark at people when she's in the car.
How dare they be outside of the car or in their own cars or really existing at all.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's it.
That was a good one. I really like the way that you told that too. Bravo.
Thank you.
Wait. Bravo.
Thank you. It's really long.
They're like really into it. Why was that? He's like, yeah. Okay. You deserved that, though.
Thank you.
Wow. How do I follow up with that? I don't know.
Impossible.
I can't. Yeah. And we're done. This is a quick one, I swear. But also very interesting. Okay. So mine is Stull, Stull Cemetery.
Those cemetery ones?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The AI said it was in Stull, Kansas, but now I'm thinking that's not true. I don't know if there is such thing as a Stull, Kansas.
What's that?
Because it was named after the postmaster. And I don't think they would have named...
They could have.
The city after...
It's an unincorporated community in Douglas County, Kansas.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Yep.
Anyways, so it was named after the postmaster.
Okay.
Some people say that it was like intended to be Skull, Kansas, for reasons I'll get into in a second, but I think it was not. So after the 1899 postmaster, the cemetery that I'm talking about also dates back to 1869, and there was a stone church next to the cemetery in 1867. Small stone church. No pictures of it for reasons we'll discuss in a little bit. But to kind of set the scene. There's not much like left of this little tiny place today. There's like a few houses. There's about 20 residents. but it's said that not all of their residents are human.
Oh, this is fun. So like there's some like
no, it's not that good.
Oh,
but
okay.
Aliens, no, I wish.
Aliens,
maybe
reptile people.
Reptile. Hey, don't come at me like that. Okay. So it was said that the cemetery itself has been haunted for like hundreds of years, supposedly.
It's like pre-existing, like the land was haunted.
Yeah, supposedly. Okay. But it didn't reach fame until 1970 because in 1970, a Kansas student newspaper released an article about what they were witnessing at this cemetery, and it went viral. It went 70s viral.
70s viral.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like Walter Cronkite was on that.
So it was published in November of 1974. The students in the paper had claimed to witness diabolical supernatural happenings. And quote, the devil appears in person.
Wow. So he's a busy guy, I would imagine.
No,
devil.
he's here.
He's in Stull. Okay.
He's in Stull twice a year. Believe it or not, this busy guy what's the busiest day of the year for the devil?
It has to be Halloween.
Yeah. He's here on Halloween.
What if that's like his like vacation time? He's just like, I summer in Stull, or I fall in Stull.
Well, we have a theory for why he comes. Okay. And then the other one is a spring equinox. So twice a year.
Okay.
So it had said, like in the paper, it said that the students' parents and their grandparents had stories and they talked about all the lore and the stories that had been passed down. But the students didn't really believe anything until they went and checked it out for themselves. And that's when they went to explore the area for this news article. And one of the students was claimed to have been grabbed by the arm by something unseen. And then the other students said that they lost their memory when they were visiting the place.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And so word got out, they wrote about their experience, about getting grabbed, about losing their memory, about like the freaky feelings that they had. Word got out. And then the residents, though, they didn't really think much of it. They wouldn't really talk about it, oddly enough.
That's weird.
Yeah. They were just kind of like, oh, that's whatever, and then just moved on. But eventually, by 1978, a couple of years later, every Halloween, about 150 people go to the cemetery to wait for the devil.
Oh, that sounds like a terrible idea.
I know. It's also said that the spirits of those who had died violent deaths would be were buried there and then would be returned from the grave by the devil.
Oh, so they rise up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're do battle against the evil people?
No.
No.
They want to just witness it.
I just want to see it happen.
It's supposedly this is the stairway to hell.
Oh.
Is here.
We found it.
Yeah.
Supernatural show. I feel like
that
makes sense.
Wait.
Okay.
Pause. We'll get there.
All right.
So apparently the story goes that in the cemetery, the devil is there. He rises up from hell. He brings all these people who have had very violent deaths, and he raises them from the dead to wreak havoc on apparently Kansas. Although there's no hard evidence, videos or anything like that. I did find one YouTube video where the place was on fire, but it wasn't forest fire. It was patches of grass were just randomly on fire. I don't know. Right. I hope the YouTuber didn't start these
I
small
think they
fires.
Started those fires.
That's weird.
We did that with a firework when I was a kid.
You started a fire as a kid?
Well, not a forest fire, but it was in Michigan, my grandparents' house, the one you saw. We were playing with whatever, and we lit a little patch of grass on fire.
That is not something you do as a child in Arizona.
Not in Arizona, but in Michigan, it's not too big of a deal. You just hose it out, or it put itself out. Actually,
I hope so. So even though there's no, hey Bisbee,
welcome.
You can't see her, but she just woke up. So two young men, there's a couple stories that go on with this. So two young men were there visiting. One became frightened when a really strong wind started, hurricane style wind, out of nowhere. And then they ran back to their car to just I just want to get the heck out of here. The car was on the other side of the freeway faced the opposite direction that they had parked.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the ghost was going to like go on a joyride and it's like, nah.
Something about this wind is haunted.
Okay.
Yeah. Because again, later.
Or maybe it messed with their memory.
Oh,
it was messing with memory. Then maybe they parked it that way the first time, but then they misremembered it.
Oh, yeah. That would be weird to park it and then walk on the other across the freeway to like get to where you need to be.
That's true.
Anyways, the wind though, another man had another experience with this wind. But it was inside of the church instead of the cemetery itself. The church is like in the cemetery, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Where he claimed that this strong wind again came inside the church and knocked him to the floor and wouldn't allow him to move. He could not get up because the wind was so strong. It was like forcing him to the floor, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then another weird oddity inside the church. So this was after when the church was a little bit more like dilapidated and it didn't have a roof or anything, but the like ruins were kind of there of the church.
Yeah, like the structure.
Yeah. That some people went when it was raining, and it was raining all across the graveyard, but it was not raining in the church.
Oh, so like the church was like
even though there was no roof,
like protected.
Yeah.
From like the
whatever
Satan rain.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Very weird. Yeah.
Weird. So yeah, it says that the devil is there, and he gathers all the people who had violent deaths to go roam the earth, haunt Kansas. Apparently, in the 1850s, some guy had stabbed the mayor, and then years later, like in that church area, I don't know what the mayor actually has to do with the story, but anyways, a guy stabbed someone in the church area. But then again, this like dilapidated church is now, it burned down, like everything burns.
Yeah. Like
in all of our stories.
Yep.
But after the burn, there was one crucifix hanging on the wall. And when someone went to go visit it, the crucifix flipped upside down.
That's Conjuring level stuff right there.
Yeah, right. Very Conjuring level.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not realizing, I don't know what the stabbing has to do with that story. Maybe he stabbed and then burned it down.
Maybe somebody like he's connected.
Yeah. Okay. This one is crazy. I couldn't unfortunately find any evidence to this, but it said in 1993 or 1995, depending on what you listen to, the Pope, John Paul II, was flying for an appearance in Colorado. He had to fly over Kansas, but he made them divert his plane away to not fly over the unholy ground that was this church and the cemetery.
I love that story. I don't know if it's true, but I like to think it is.
I'm telling you, this is where the devil is.
The Pope knows. He's like,
the Pope is like,
actually,
you can take an alternate route. But again, I couldn't find the actual thing that like referenced that happening. Okay. But anyways, the residents still to this day, like they're upset that people come to see the devil. They're upset that their town is busy and any vandalism that takes place, but they don't do anything to like refute this evidence. Like no one says like, this is not haunted, people. The devil's in here. Like no one says that, which is weird. Like why?
It was weird.
You want people to go away, tell people it's fake, but they like won't do that.
Yeah, it'd be annoying to have like your whole little town fill up twice a year with like a bunch of people there, probably leave trash.
Yeah, right.
And like, broken bottles.
And it's just like a regular old cemetery, but it is kind of cool. Now the church is nothing but like rubble, but you can see just like the square of the foundation pretty much. But going back to Supernatural, season 5 finale. Okay. Filmed there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because when you said it was like hell opens in the U.S. basically.
Yeah.
I made me think of Supernatural. So I was like, why are all these like major things happening like in like flyover states of U.S. like Kansas, Iowa? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, that was cool. I love to think that it's the staircase to hell, but maybe we'll have to go on Halloween and see.
Yeah, we'll go see. We'll be those people rushing into their town with our cameras.
All right, and I do have a joke for this one too.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Why don't skeletons throw parties in Stull Cemetery?
Because Christy, what's her name? Christy
Allen.
Christy Allen.
Christy Allie.
Whatever her name was. She's buzzkilling.
What? No, this has nothing to do with Christy. No, it's because every time they raise the dead, the devil shows up and ruins the vibe.
That's a great joke, ChatGPT.
Thanks, ChatGPT. Oh, and then there was 3 emojis after.
I feel like that's going to be the hardest thing to teach AI is how to make
jokes,
a joke because like it just doesn't.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kansas had more than I expected. I didn't expect much from Kansas, but
it's a good one.
Good stories.
Good stories.
Good vibes.
Almost.
Demonic in nature.
Yeah. But at least you know also lives in Kansas.
What?
Clark Kent.
Oh, yeah.
I guess he lives in Metropolis, but he was born in Kansas.
As soon as he left, the devil came in.
Yeah, he was like, finally, haha.
Anyways, thanks for hanging around. Next time, I think, is Kentucky.
Yep.
So any Kentucky fans out there, stay tuned. In the meantime, take a look at behind the scenes. And I think that's all we had for you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to stay spooky. Bye.
I didn't want to steal your line this time.
How generous.
Mm-hmm.